Hey guys, welcome to November. It's November 1st today. I'm Lisa. Welcome to the Fiber Nymph Dye Works channel. Thanks for stopping by. This is sort of an impromptu video today. Um, it's one of those days that I had a plan and then it pretty much unraveled from the get-go. So we're just making the most of it. Do you ever have those days? I think we all do. Anyway, if you are someone who ordered one of my holiday countdown sets, or the day 25 item, or both, you will have gotten a letter from me, an email, not a letter. I didn't like sit with my quill and write things out on parchment and send it by carrier pigeon. No, you would have gotten an email from me yesterday, not admitting defeat, just letting you know that the collections are being shipped out about a week late. They're going to go out a week late this year. I was super hopeful that despite the fact that I lost so much time working on them in August and September after Zach died, that I was going to be able to make that up. But no, I mean, I had some stuff done before that, but it was just a little hard. And I've been working super diligently, but I had to take a realistic look at things yesterday and realize that I could either do things fast to finish them up, or I could do things right, and that would require about another week. So I hope people aren't too upset. So far I've gotten a lot of really very kind responses, so thank you so much. But that being said, you might think, well, Lisa, if you have so much work to do on those collections, why are you not diligently working right this very, very minute instead of recording? Well, I've got a really good answer for you, because this was actually not going to be a day that I was going to be able to get a lot done on those anyway, which also fed into my decision to push the ship by date back a week. I have my flu and COVID booster shot appointments. One appointment, both shots, this afternoon, because I had to postpone it from when I was originally supposed to get it because I had COVID at that time. So I'm doing that this afternoon, and I did work this morning. And I don't have enough time to really get into anything else big before I have to leave to go get my shots. So I thought, why not sit down and do an impromptu video with you guys, because I have something I've been thinking about I'd really like to talk to you about and share with you, but I haven't had a chance. So now seems to be a really good opportunity. I'm in the bedroom, obviously, and I'm at a different angle that I usually am in here, so you can actually see this mirror, which is reflecting the window, which is technically behind you, but I needed to be able to sit a whole bunch of stuff on my bed right here, so that's why I'm here. I hope the weird window and light stuff isn't distracting. It's a very gloomy day outside today, but it's not particularly cold, so I'm in a t-shirt. Do you want to see my t-shirt? I have to preface this by saying Bill, my husband, loves novelty t-shirts, loves them, and every year he buys a bunch of them and he gives them to everybody for Christmas. I get one, Emma gets one, sometimes I get more than one. My mom, her husband, and probably a bunch of other people that I don't even know about, he gives novelty t-shirts to. And this is one of the ones that he gave me in recent years. I don't wear it a lot because I don't love t-shirts so much, but it was a good weather day to wear a t-shirt. And this one is kind of funny. And B, the other thing you need to know about Bill is he is a scientist, and so chemistry and stuff like that is his jam. And so that kind of feeds into this. So here you go. It's sort of it's not dirty, but it is more adult themed, I guess. Although technically it's something that you would learn in high school, I guess. Anyway, here, I'll show you. Ready? It's just funny. So, anyway. All that to say, not condoning irresponsible behavior or anything. There's better ways to solve your problems, but if you do imbibe, do so responsibly. Okay. So that's my t-shirt. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to show you some projects. And this kind of relates both to the fact that I have really been busy doing pretty much nothing but working on work, especially the holiday countdown sets. And it also ties into something that I posted about in the Fiber and Dye Works Ravelry group, if you're able to access that, in the chatter thread that we have going on for the Meow. And I realize not everybody can reference that, so I will let you know what it was about. In the Meow chatter thread, I had mentioned, hey, I have an idea for what I want to do next year for the Mal. Anybody interested in hearing about it? And people were. So I talked about it. And next year's Mal, I would like to be, I'm actually naming it the Stop Shooting on Yourself Mal. So SSOY, the Soy Mal. We had the Meow Mal this year, make it your own. Next year is going to be the Soy Mal. And the whole point or the whole gist of that is to like focus on projects that you've either like had in your queue mentally or literally for a long time that you've really wanted to make, but you've always found other reasons for not making them. Like, oh, I really wanted this beautiful, intricate sweater or shawl or whatever, but I really should work on these gifts, or I should spend more time finishing up whips, or I should, obligation stuff. And so next year, I really want to encourage people to not only work on like the fiber arts crafting that they really want to do, not exclusively. Obviously, we're always going to have other things that we need to do, but to make sure we're remembering to put in some of those things that we really want to do that make us sing inside, and not just in the fiber arts, but like if you've been wanting to try something like wood carving or painting or origami or like cooking fancy desserts, baking. I guess you'd bake a fancy dessert. I don't know. Anyway, any of those kind of things, that's what I really want next year's Mal to be about, is like encouraging that exploratory creativity that's going to actually push you to do things that you really want to do, or are fascinated with, instead of just the things you feel like you should do. So the Stop Shooting on Yourself make along will be next year. But in that vein, I have been thinking about this for like the remainder of this year, because I am spending so much time working right now, and I've had pretty much no time to work on anything like fun that I want to be working on. I know eventually I will, and that's what I'm about to talk to you about. It's just a season. It's a season of time that I need to be working on this, and that's fine. It's what I do for a living, and I know it happens every year. My one exception to that is I did give myself permission to cast on a pair of Halloween socks this year, and this is the first one. This is Knit Spin Farms Targi sock base, and this was her spooky, scary spooky colorway. So I did get one sock done, and most of part of the second, about half the second. Obviously didn't finish them for Halloween, but you know what, that's okay, because eventually I will finish them, and then I'll put them away and I'll have them for next Halloween, which is what happened this year, because I just recently swapped out socks of a bin that I keep my hand knit socks in, and I bring them out seasonally and put other ones away. And I found my pair of Halloweeny socks that I knit for myself last year and apparently did not finish in time to wear for Halloween, so they were brand new this year, and that's what I have them on right now. I had them on yesterday, but I usually get more than one day out of my hand knit socks. So this has been the only thing that I have really let myself indulge in little snippets over the last few weeks. But that being said, within not next Monday, because I've pushed it out another week. So by the 14th, the Holiday Countdown collections will be shipped out. And at that point, or before, I mean, they may very well be done before that, but that was like the deadline I put on it. At that point, I'm going to start working on things that I really, really want to be working on for me for a little while. My crafting energy was just so low for a lot of this summer and early fall, after dealing with all the grief stuff. Not that I'm done, but like the acute part of grief, like I just couldn't craft well and everything. And so things have been lingering, and I really want to get back to some things. So I just thought I would show you some of the things that I'm really looking forward to working on, in the coming weeks once I get my work done. And the first thing, most of this is stuff I want to finish. There's one thing I know I want to cast on, but most of this is stuff that's been lingering as a whip for a little while or a long while, that I want to finish. So the first thing is actually a finished object. I finished it last winter. I've never worn it because there's a fit issue, and that is my Ramona Cardigan. You may remember this. I knit this out of Briggs & Little Heritage, so it's heavy. It's listed some places as a worsted, other places as an Aran. It's a heavy yarn. But the biggest problem is I made the sleeves way too long. They're like a good 5 or 6 inches too long, and because the yarn is so heavy, it doesn't scrunch up comfortably without pushing the whole bulk of the sleeve up here, and it does not look good. So I never wore it, and I just figured I'd deal with it this year. So that's what I'm going to do. So if you look at these sleeves, do you see that weird angle thing happening there? Like right there? That's because as I was doing the decreases for the sleeves, as I was knitting it, I think I did decreases. And yeah, I have decreases in here. I don't know. It was weird. The sleeves on this were weird for me. I don't know that that's everybody's experience, but for whatever reason, they were odd for me. I didn't do enough decreases, or they weren't fast enough or something. So I just very rapidly decreased towards the end of the sleeve. But at the same time, they're also too long. And then I remembered I had to do cuffs. And I'm like, oh yeah, I better do cuffs. And so I even had to make it longer. So my plan is to rip the sleeves back to this strange angly point. And I think I'm just going to go down my needle size or two and do cuffs there. And that will excise about 3.5 to 4 inches of sleeve, which will make them the right length. And I mean, the cuff will still be pulled in because it'll be ribbing on a smaller needle. It may just not be as snug at the cuff as I often like my sleeves to be, but at least it won't be too long. And between those two, I would rather it not be too long. So anyway, I'm going to do that so that I have another sweater that I can actually start wearing if the weather ever decides to get cold enough to wear sweaters again, because suddenly we're back to non-sweater weather, sweater weather. Yeah, I woke up this morning, it was 56 degrees. What's that all about? Anyway, so that's going to be one of the first things I tackle once I can allow myself to do things that I want to do. Not that I don't want to work. See, I feel like this is sending the wrong message. I'm not begrudging the fact that I have this work to do. I want to do that. I want to get it done. But it just means that I have to hold off on doing other things that I also want to do that are personal things for me. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so that is one thing that I do want to get done. And the rest of these are in no specific order. Another thing I would really like to finish, and hope I didn't just pull off the needles, is this project that I had been working on back in August when the world fell apart. And this is the cowl, the Rogue River cowl that I was doing with my July personal stash yarn challenge yarn. It was a mini set, Fiber Nymph Dye Works mini set, along with a full skein of Bedazzled in black that I'm using as the alternating color. So I would really like to get this done because it's about probably a third of the way done at least, and I would just like to finish it. I don't want it to linger. I was doing so well with those stash yarn challenges yarns this year. I would really like to get that one done. I know I'm probably not going to get something done with all of my stash yarn because I've lost too many months. So I never did August, September, October, or now November. It's November 1st. I did pull my November yarn. Do you want to see what it is? I pulled it so I could show you. It's 2 balls of Rowan felted tweed in this pretty orange. And I'm so happy that I picked that this month because that's such a seasonal color. I don't know what I'll do with it. I could weave with it. That seems to be my default lately, is weaving. I have other skeins or other balls of this in my stash. I think these might have been the only 2 in this burnt orangey kind of color. I think I might have some red. I might have some blue. Oh, I have a sweater's quantity of a blue and of a red. So I don't know. I'll have to look and see. But I might do something weaving, or I may just knit something. I don't know. It's 2 balls, and it's like 200 and some yards. Nope, it's 191 yards. So that's almost 400 yards between the two of this. Definitely enough to do some sort of little, like a cowl or something. I don't know. But that's my November Stash Yarn Challenge yarn. So that now gives me August, September, October, November, 4 months worth of Stash Yarn Challenge yarn to try to figure out how I can use before the end of the year. Okay, so, but that's not exactly what I was talking about. I just brought it in because I picked it up. Another thing that has been on the go for quite a long time, I'm going to say I started this probably, 2 years ago now? And that is my crocheted granny cardigan. Do you remember this? It's so old. And I honestly don't remember where I left off at this point. I think maybe it was too tall. Like the armholes were maybe too tall, and maybe I needed to rip back and try to do some extra shaping or something. That seems to be what I remember. I'm going to have to look and see if I had made any notes about that. If not, I think my game plan for this is to just pick it up where it's at and wing it. Just do what I can with it and not worry about anything else. Mainly it needs sleeves at this point and button band, and I think it's going to be done. I would love to be able to wear it. Now the funny thing is, this basket is full of my minis that I was using for this, but every time I want to go and make some sort of little project, like I was making these hearts for a while, I'm like, oh, I'll just use some of this yarn. So I'm really hoping I have enough of this yarn left. I'm sure I do. I've got tons of it. And if I don't, like, I know the dyer. It's Fabric Dye Works. It's all my yarn. So I don't think I'll have to dye anymore. Matter of fact, I'm sure I won't, because I'm sure I've got lots of little bibs and bobs of it in my stash. So anyway, but this is something I would love to be able to finish so that I actually have it to wear, because it's not doing me any good just sitting here in this little bin as it's been for a couple of years. So that's another project that I really want to finish. Then there's this, which is a more recent project that I quit working on again in August when life fell apart. And this is my Weekender Light sweater. I was so close to being done with this. Trying to find the other end of the needle so that I don't lose things. There we go. All right, so where was I? What's on this side? This side. Okay. I'm trying to figure out which side is this side I'm working on. Okay. Oh, cool. Yikes. All right. So I have the back on one of those barber cord things, those little rubbery cords, and I was working on the top. Now, I hope I took notes on this too, because I think this is sort of a shaping section, like the armhole maybe. I don't know how much shaping there was, but I know there's something going on up here. Maybe I'm done with this, because look, there's ribbing up there. Huh. I think I might be done with this half and ready to move on to the other half, the back half. I think that might be the deal. I honestly just don't know. I'll have to look it up and hope I took good records. But I was doing this improvised cable detail down the front and the back because I'm doing it stockinette side out as opposed to reverse stockinette, which is how it's written. My regular Weekender, the worsted weight version, I did the other way, and I wasn't super crazy about it. But that one, the reverse stockinette side being out, has a slip stitch detail, which is lovely, and I like how it looks, but that does not show up in stockinette facing fabric. So that's why I decided to just do my own thing with this little cable thing that will hopefully open up and be visible enough. But it wasn't something that I had charted or anything. I was just winging it, so I'll have to hopefully be able to recreate it on the back. Although if I just do something totally different on the back, who's gonna know? It's not like you're gonna look at the front of me and the back of me at the same time, right? This one I was not planning on having long sleeves on, so depending on how much yarn I have left once I'm done with the back, will dictate how long I do sleeves or cuffs or whatever I put on this. I'm not sure how much wear this will get at this point in the year, since it is a lighter weight sweater and it's very drapey, and even wearing something underneath it, I feel like it might cling a little too much, but it's still something that I would like to get finished and off the needles since I'm really close to having it done. At least I feel like I am. Okay, so there's that. And then, what else do I have here? Oh, this. Okay, this is definitely a should project, and if you've been around for a few years, you'll remember it. They're the mitts, the convertible fingerless gloves. That's what they are. That I started for my son. He asked for them about 3 years ago for Christmas. And there were all kinds of issues in getting them done. I think last year I finally got to the point. I mean, thankfully I do have both of them on the go. I was not sure that I did, but I do. I started doing the fingers last year, and then that's as far as I got because I got overwhelmed with it. Realized it was once again not going to get done for Christmas, so maybe this year, especially since he's started to ask about them. He had kind of forgotten about them for a while, but now he's asking about them, so I really do feel like I should try to get them done this year. So that's really the only external should kind of project that I think I'm going to work on for the holidays, like for gifts. I don't know that I'm going to try to do any other handmade gifts, at least not knitting wise. I don't know, we'll see. But I just don't know that I have it in me this year. So those are a should. And I realize I'm not telling you names of all the patterns. I do have, actually did I? I guess I did tell you the names of the patterns. And hopefully I put them down here as well. What were these called? These had a name. Men's Convertible Gloves and Thumbs by Steph Thompson. So, anyway, that's a project. And lastly, the other thing I would really like to work on, and I think it should work up pretty quickly. I'm just going to show you yarn because I don't have an actual pattern in here, but it's my hand spun. This is hand spun of mine that I pulled out to make a slip over, which is basically a fancy word for a vest. I think it's like a Scottish or Irish term. That's what they call vests, slipovers, maybe. But I have 3 skeins of this beautiful hand spun, this blue hand spun, that I pulled out last year because several people were making them, but Aquila from the Lefty Knitter podcast, she made one, and I loved hers. I don't think I'm making the same one that she made, but I wanted to do something like that. Because I'm not a big vest person, but the whole slip over idea, because I think because it's a little bit looser, it's not like a fitted vest. Although I guess you wouldn't have to make a vest fitted. I don't know. Anyway, that was what inspired me to want to do this. And I pulled this hand spun yarn out because I thought it would be really nice to use hand spun, but I never got it cast on because I think it was a little too close to the end of winter at that point. But that is something that I would like to cast on. So that's my other project. I need to find a pattern for it though. Maybe I'll look at the one Aquila did. I don't remember what it was called, but I'll find it. And I'll look at other ones because I'm sure they're out there. I have a tickle in my throat. Hang on. Okay, thanks. So that's it. Those are the things that once I'm all done with getting the deadline stuff out, which I'm committed to doing, I'm not complaining about it at all. I'm exercising the restraint that I need to in order to focus on that. But then once that's done, these are the things I want to get my sticky little fingers on and just take some time for me to actually do the things that'll be fun for me, like, and yield me projects and things that I can wear once it gets cold enough. I mean, that said, like, it's not like my shop work my studio work stops because I have pigskin party stuff that I'm working on. Also, I have shop update. Well, not shop update because I'm not doing official updates anymore. Remember, right now I'm just putting stuff in the shop as I get it done. Nothing new has been in the shop recently, so don't worry, you haven't missed anything. Because again, holiday countdown sets are taking precedence. But there will be things coming up. So, I mean, there will still be work going on, but it'll be back to a regular kind of normal, non-killing myself schedule. And yeah, so that's all I wanted to share with you today. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me. And thank you for everybody who comes and supports the podcast by watching, by commenting, by sharing me with your friends. There is a membership option on this channel. You can just click join either underneath this video, or if you go to the main Fiber Nymph Dye Works YouTube page, you can click join there. It's one low price for everybody, and it gets you some bonus content throughout the month, which I'm getting back into the swing of that. But thank you to those of you who are members already, and if you'd like to look into that, I'd greatly appreciate it. Otherwise, I will be back, probably in a week or so with something else. I'm trying to make these videos a little shorter, as I've told you before, and hopefully that works for you. So anyway, hope you have a good rest of your day. I hope you have a good week and a good November. And I'm looking at those gray clouds. It's supposed to start raining. It'll probably start to rain as soon as I get in the car, because that's what happens, right? When I have to go out and run around, that is when it will rain. All right, I'm going to go. See you again soon. Bye.